Hi, it's Anne. Thanks for stopping by. What do we have here? We have a lot of garbage. We have a lot of junk. We have a lot of trash. We have food packaging. It is the week after Thanksgiving. And I've actually been letting some of these things build up for a while because I thought that it might be fun to take a lot of food packaging that otherwise would go right into that recycle bin and see what we could do with it in terms of making a junk journal. I love using things that would otherwise be thrown away. That gets to the very heart of junk journaling, junk journal making for me. And let's just get started. We actually didn't generate a whole lot of trash because we didn't do a lot of cooking this holiday. Some of these are from a few weeks ago, but I knew I wanted to do something with food packaging, so I've been saving for a while. But these are all things that are very typical that you might have. We got a pre-cooked turkey. It was just Dan and me here for Thanksgiving because our daughter and her family went north to our son-in-law's family up to northern Washington. So that's their typical journey from Portland every Thanksgiving, and they enjoy that. And Barney gets to play with his cousins. But anyway, food packaging is just a wonderful, rich source for us to make some sort of a journal. Let me show you what I have in mind for this. I took a mailer and covered it with sort of a dishcloth type fabric that I already had at home. On the inside, I went to my junk mail, and got the Trader Joe's grocery store. They have this cute little newsletter that was pop into mailboxes, and it's just funny. It's funny, and I enjoy Trader Joe's. And I took a couple pages from that and lined the inside of this journal. Have no idea what I'm going to put on the cover. We're going to be doing this episode in some segments, and I'm sure I'll come up with something here. I have cut a few pages for signatures, and we'll be putting a few things in. But this is going to be the food packaging journal that, or food-oriented journal that I'm going to be creating here. I found a really great video on YouTube by Kathleen Mower, where she made these really cute pockets. She called them peekaboo layered pockets. And I have to put them on or at least position them on a signature page here so you can get the idea. And here's just one I made just sort of as a template. She recommends taking a sort of a squarish piece of paper, a rectangle-ish piece of paper, a label, and an embellishment. And those four elements can make a really sweet double pocket here. Let me just grab something here. She calls it a peekaboo pocket because you adhere it on this side and on these sides. But because it's layered up, anything that you put in here can go all the way to the bottom of your page, and it's peeking out there a little bit. And then something else smaller can go in here. So anyway, we're just going to put a few together because I thought this would be great for food packaging. It's easy to come up with a little bit of a formula, something squarish, something rectangle-ish. We've got lots of labels, and we have lots of embellishments. I've cut quite a few embellishments out of a cookbook, this old Sunset cookbook, in fact, that I think might make nice embellishments for these pockets because we're going to be talking about food. We'll just see. I haven't made any of them yet. I was saving my food packaging for you. So let's just begin. Maybe I will use this. initially this pumpkin can. And there's my glue stick. I actually did not even make our own pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving this year. We, again, when the kids are out of town, Dan and I cook, we cook all year long. We love to cook. Dan especially is the good cook in the family, but I do a fair amount of cooking as well. Make a lot of soups, any kind of baking. If any baking is going to happen, it's going to happen from me. And I did make some pumpkin bread not long ago and saved this label. I usually make our own pumpkin pie, but when we have pumpkin pie. But this year, you know, as I mentioned, the kids are always out of town for Thanksgiving. And move it a little bit further down so I can capture that whole piece down here. There we go. We got in the habit during the first 2 years of COVID. You know, the first year, of course, 2020, you know, we were not going anywhere. And the kids stayed in town that year, I think. But we, you know, I mean, we all know how horrible that was. Nobody was doing any getting together. And we didn't feel like cooking a Thanksgiving dinner of sadness on that solitary year that we had in 2020, but we did do curbside pickup from New Seasons Market, which is one of our sort of frou-frou grocery stores here in Portland. I think they're all throughout the Pacific Northwest, I think. Anyway, they were advertising that they, you know, let us do your cooking, and we could just do a curbside pickup of that meal and have a nice Thanksgiving without having to go through the motions. You know, we could observe Thanksgiving, you know, sort of, but we didn't have to do any actual cooking. And it worked out so well, and it was so good that we did it the next year too. Well, the 2 years since then, 2022 and 2023, we went to our friends Kate and Justin's house. They live just down the street, and they got people together, a sort of a Friendsgiving. So much fun, lots of fun. But they were traveling this year, and so we thought, oh, let's just do our New Seasons. That's going to be good. It'll just be the two of us at home, and that will be just fine. So we ordered our New Seasons Thanksgiving feast, fully cooked turkey, the sides, a half a pie, and it was just fine. It was just great. It was so tasty. It was heat and eat and no other fuss. And anyway, that's the story of our Thanksgiving cooking. I've cut this off. Let me get my little template back here and get back to, oh, here it is. Yeah, so here I've cut this this part of the pumpkin label to be sort of my squarish piece, and then I need a rectangulish piece. So I'm going to cut out this gelatin box. We went to a potluck when my sister was here visiting in October. And we had a request because it was two Midwestern girls, my sister and myself, going to this potluck. We had a request to bring something really Midwestern to this potluck. So, of course, I made a gelatin salad that was sweeter than than we're used to having the way we eat today. But everybody loved it. So there's that layout. And I saved the boxes to do some crafting with. Now, what kind of label situation do I have here? Shall I pull something off? This butter box. maybe I will do that. Oh, yeah, I kind of like this bottom here, first quality. This will sort of represent our label. You can see we get our butter at Costco, the Kirkland brand. And there we go. And where's some sort of an embellishment? This is going to be kind of an unusual look. About broccoli. Broccoli's an ironic ad there with canned pumpkin and gelatin. I should bring this here so you can enjoy looking through these little cutouts with me. There's a pumpkin. Maybe we'll use this. Okay, this is kind of kooky, but I think I'm fine with it. Now, we do want to make certain that when we put it together, that the whole piece doesn't end up being more than 5.5 inches there. I think that's going to be fine. And we'll still have our little peekaboo portion down here. I think I'll move that up a little bit so that we'll have larger peekaboo portion here. Is that label too big? I think it might be a little bit big. I'm just going to cut it down. I don't want it to be so big that we're blocking out our other things. Let's just use the words first quality. First quality canned pumpkin. First quality Jell-O. Honestly, I think canned pumpkin is the way to go with making pumpkin desserts. I have never in my life, and I've been making pumpkin desserts my whole life, and I have never taken an actual pumpkin and sliced it open. I leave that to the fine folks at Libby's to do. Now, let's see, is this, yes, we will glue here and here. Move that up a little bit. Are we still? Yes, that's going to be narrow enough. It'll be nice on a page, and I'll put it on one of my pages, even though I don't have my signature put together again. That's okay. I think that looks fun. This is supposed to be kind of fun and campy, and you know, not a celebration of fine artwork. It's supposed to be clear that these things are from food packaging. I've talked to so many people over the last couple of months who don't really know about junk journaling, but are fascinated by the idea of them. And let's just, you know, celebrate things as they are. Sometimes it's fun to cover things up, you know, like, you know, taking the ugly scrapbook paper and turning it into something else with gel prints. And I love doing that. I really do, or collaging on top of it. But sometimes we want to sort of celebrate what we're saving from the landfill. There we go. So yeah, my idea, or what Kathleen had, was generally her embellishment was oh, you know, bridging the gap here, going over that joint, and then having the label here. this is going to work for this. This would not work in every journal, but it will work in this one. Let me pull out a page here and we'll see how that's going to work. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera, I'm going to do a few more, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I got done. And let's see, yes, this whole thing needs to be open, and this I'm only going to glue here and here, that L shape, and then a little bit along this edge. So I'm going to be making some tags. And I'm also going to be using some old recipes. If you saw the Food Memories journal that my sister Karen and I put together when she was visiting here in Portland in October, you'll remember that we worked with a lot of old recipes, and I see no reason to not continue using those. She actually sent me more after she went home. This is cute. Let's see what it would look like with a few tags in it. I have a few. I'm not certain I would put these into this this journal, but so that you can see the peekaboo aspect. Here's sort. Oh, there it is. Hello. Hello. Peeking through, and here's the little one that will layer up. Don't feed the landfills. Isn't that a cute little pocket? It's, again, it wouldn't fit in every journal, but how nice to just really say, yeah, we're using junk. This is what junk journaling is about. I love that. Everything doesn't need to be pretty. Some things can simply be celebrated for what they are, and these kinds of papers, these kinds of packages that figure prominently in our lives. I'm going to pause for now, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back for a quick update. I am putting all of these little pieces together, and I'm having so much fun. The process I basically use is I went through all of my labels and all of my, stuff. And the things that were on very thin paper, I backed them with just a little bit of white, lightweight paper to make them a little more durable. And then I just started cutting things apart, and I sorted them into piles, which obviously I messed up. The kind of rectangular things, the kind of squarish things. I very quickly lost control of the shapes because I kind of followed the images and sort of let them dictate what shape they wanted to be. But in putting them together into these layered pockets, I did follow Kathleen's model of having only four items, two squarish / rectangleish things, a label or a label-like product, and an embellishment. Sometimes the embellishments were labels. I just let things take their course. So I'm going to show you these few that I have done. Already you saw the one, but this one, I loved how all of these colors came together with this little illustration from a cookbook. Another one, I love using that USDA label. And here's one. Look at the kind of goofy label I used here. It was a little sold by label that was on the back of a sugar bag. Our bargain grocery store here is called Winco. And Dan especially loves shopping at Winco because you can get a lot of things in bulk there, which means less packaging, and we like that. We don't go through a ton of sugar, but he did recently finish a sugar bag, and I love the Winco sugar bags. Last year I made a whole journal with the cover being the front of the Winco sugar bag. I don't have that one around here, but I took the big label off of the front of the recently finished Winco sugar bag, and I just put this together into this little collage. It's similar to the ones that we're doing following Kathleen's formula, but it's it's not laboriously so. I'm going to continue working on this little journal to really kind of call attention, I hope, to how much packaging we use in our food. I don't want to think of it as a celebration of food packaging, because it's not. For me, it's becoming a reminder that, maybe I have less of this particular craft supply. Use what we've got, but be mindful about acquiring more. I'll be back when I'm finished. So we're going to make this almost as done as it's going to be. I have to say, I love this journal. I love food packaging. I just love the ordinariness of the materials that I've used, and I know I'm really going to enjoy using this one. We're going to do a little bit of a flip through. It's not done because I find what I'm missing are a lot of tags, and so I'm going to set this aside and just collect more food packaging, which, despite our best efforts, I know there's going to be more food packaging come into our lives every day or every week at least. And I'm sure I'm going to be able to come up with the tags to complete this. But let's just kind of go through here. I considered napkins to be part of the food packaging refuse, and just that little mushroom bag, just little scraps of that backed with other blank pieces of paper from the brown bag. Just give something, just a little something interesting to journal on. You've seen this. We made this initially, and I used the tag on the box for our half a pie that we got from New Seasons. That is just going to slip nicely into here. And look, there's the peekaboo. There it is. Now I have room for one more little pocket here, but that's what I'm going to continue to make in the future so I can layer this up. I just love this idea, this whole construct that Kathleen Mower shared with us. And again, I will have that link below. I found as I went through that I did follow her her template, with the squarish piece, the rectangular piece, a label, and some sort of an embellishment. I followed that. But then I had so many little bits and pieces. I started putting things together. I started doing variations on that theme, and I'm sure Kathleen will be okay with that. I did try to keep each little pocket assembly to be 3 or 4 elements. I might have thrown a 5th one in here and again, but here's another one in the classic one with two pockets. I didn't realize until just now that I had my Winco raspberry gelatin box, on 2 subsequent pages, but yeah, that's okay. Don't overlook things like these sell by or best by labels. That just is an interesting little thing there, and cutouts from magazines or recipe books make really nice little embellishments. Here is another one that I thought I would just glue in with you here. So I think I'm going to put it here. And this stayed with, these are both kind of rectangle-ish. And I still am getting used to where to put my glue here. And I'm going to put it a little bit up, not quite down at the bottom of the page, because most of my tags I'm finding are likely going to be a little bit on the shorter side and not really long. I have some that are kind of long that you'll see here in a moment. There we go. Haven't done much here. There's another one with canned label, picture out of a cookbook, and a little bit of that butter. These are our 2 pockets. This one is really different. This one, I used this label as a bridge between my two pieces. I was getting down to the dregs at this point. And so I wanted to just kind of put little pieces together. And I used this off of our little pre-made cranberry sauce that we got from New Seasons. And I just used this as a belly band. And I think that that looks really cute. So that's a variation on Kathleen's. Just one nice long piece as a belly band. Let's use this one. This is another variation where I completely rearranged the elements. And this I think I'm going to use as just as a tuck spot. I have a little bit of that mushroom storage bag, and I'm going to glue it along the bottom because my pieces were oddly shaped enough that I thought, let's just have this be one receptacle instead of a dual pocket. Always look for these little emblems too. Those are great little symbols to cut out. I think that was off of the butter box. Some of my paper left over from my using old distress ink videos. This was another sort of a mishmash, and I used this piece as a belly band, but one of the rectangular pieces I used, I set it this way, was a vintage recipe and just a few labels on there. And one little tag in there that's going to fit nicely there. I let this embellishment just hang off the bottom to give an interesting shape. Something like this makes a really nice little tag, and I kind of tried to tie together the black and white images there using that barcode along with this black and white logo off of the bakery bag. Boy, this sugar bag yielded a lot of stuff, didn't it? It really did. And yeah, then back to the back. I think I'm going to start in the back label or back cover. I think I'm going to start putting a few vintage recipes in here too. I want to add more food packaging, but I do love having a way to save some of these vintage recipes. And some of them, this is one of another one of my mother's that has some built-in leftover journaling space if we need that. So thanks, Mom, for that. I'll tuck that right in here. We've got one of her recipes there. How about fresh cranberry crunch? And this is just a precious way to store some of these recipes. Oh, pumpkin bread. I need to put that on one of the pumpkin pages from Frances Holmgren. A lovely lady I remember from my childhood in our hometown. And, oh, this one I wanted to save. Hospital bars from Arlene Cook. Look at that. This was in the pile that my sister brought. I thought, hospital bars? What in the world is this? Well, it's like a sheet cake or a bar cookie. But I love reading my mother's notes on the bottom. She said, I called them hospital bars because that's where I was when AC, Arlene, brought them, not where I ended up because of. Thanks for clarifying that. That was cute. I'm sure that they were probably Mother volunteered for years and years at our regional hospital in Nebraska, and Arlene must have been, another volunteer or a nurse or something. But I think it's funny that she called them hospital bars and reassured us that they will not send us to the hospital in any sort of a dire way. I love being able to keep that. And let's just pop a few more in here. Oh, this is one in my handwriting. I must have sent this, oh yes, oh gosh, this was such an 80s recipe. That spinach dip with Knorr vegetable soup mix. Did you ever make that? I went nuts making this in the early 80s, I believe. every party I went to had this spinach dip that you could just, eat for days. And I obviously thought it was important enough to make a copy and send it to my mother, and she improved on it a little bit. Apparently there was too much spinach. She could cut down my 2 boxes to 1 and added the green onions. So anyway, that's cute. I like that as much for my own saving of the recipes, or as much for Mother's notes as I do for my own recipes. Portuguese walnut squares. That sounds very exotic. It has port or Madeira in it. I don't remember us ever having port or Madeira around the house. But that must have been something very fancy and elegant that she got from one of her friends. Yeah, I have a few more over here. A little breakfast casserole. Let's just pop that in there. This is not done, but we're going to have fun making some more of those little tags and things to pop in here to help save some of our food packaging from going into the recycle bin or the landfill. I will show you one additional element that was not successful. I had a plastic bag that our dinner rolls came in from New Seasons for Thanksgiving Day. And I thought, I'm going to take that thin plastic, I'm going to cut it into strips, I'm going to braid it, and maybe that'll be like a little tie for around this. I'm not going to use this, and I'll show you why. It started out really good here, and I just left the labels when I cut the strips off, and some of the labels just braided in, nicely. Like you kind of see New Seasons there, and, brioche dinner rolls. I kind of liked that. But I didn't take, the labels elsewhere on the bag were stuck really hard on, and I tried to braid them into the piece, and they just ended up looking sloppy. I like things to look naturally distressed, naturally aged, but I just don't like them to look sloppy. So, no, this is not successful. Now some might say, I could attach it, just like an embellishment here. It's too thick for a bookmark. I'm not really one to put those sorts of, ponytails on my journals, those big tassels. They do look like ponytails, and, my journal is not Ariana Grande, so it doesn't really need a ponytail. So I tend to not embellish that way. We all have our own tastes. So I will continue to look for another way to use this thin plastic. I think that it can work nicely. This substance can work really nicely as a tag topper, and I've used it that way before with some of my recycled journals. But anyway, this is it for now. I hope you had fun going through my food packaging with me, and I hope you dug in your own recycle bin or saved some off of your counter and put those things right into your craft supply bin. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.